Hello everybody and welcome back to the STEAM train. This is our afternoon lesson at 3 p.m. This is for kids in 3rd to 5th grade and we're going to have a super awesome time today. My name is Mr. Dayton. I'm with New Minds and we actually have 2 assistants with us today. On my right we have my sister Isis. And on the left we have one of her friends. Go ahead and introduce yourself.
Peyton.
This is Peyton and they're going to be helping me today with our assistant. Our camera fell over a little bit. Don't worry, we're going to fix it. So our awesome assistants are going to be helping me because this is going to be a really cool lesson. We're going to learn a little bit about information and what you can do with it. There's a lot of different ways you can keep information. You can keep it on your computer. You can keep it in a note. But sometimes you want this to be secret or you want it to be encoded. Maybe if we speak a different language, I have to talk to her in French. But if she doesn't understand it, then it's not going to happen. So I want to make sure to have a language that all of us can understand. So we're going to make a secret code today. So the first thing we're going to need is we're going to need something that has different colors to write with. It could be different colored pens, colored pencils, markers. I'm going to use crowns for mine. We're also going to need some paper. So I'm going to give both of my assistants a lovely piece of paper. And I'm going to get one too just so I can show you. So here's your paper. Here's your paper. So there's been all sorts of secret codes throughout history. So these have been used sometimes in times of war. These sometimes have been used in times of peace where you just want to have a secret spy ring going on. All sorts of different things can happen. But making your own secret code is actually super easy. The first thing you're going to want to do is just write out the alphabet. Just the regular alphabet as you know it. You guys all know the alphabet now, so I'm going to go ahead and write mine out. You guys can go ahead and do the same. Go ahead and find a pen in my drawer for me. All I'm going to do is write one letter at a time and fill out the alphabet. So I'm starting down A, B, C, D, E. It's going to be backwards for you guys, but I'm going to keep on going down the page until I have all the letters. Skip a little bit because we're going to need some space and write the next set. F, G, H, I, J, K. Make sure when you're writing out your secret code, you do leave some space to the next letter. This is going to be our secret encoder. This is going to be really important. So now I'm at K. So before I write L, I'm going to skip some space. L, M, N. Keep going down. Make sure there's enough space to write something in here. O, P, Q, R, S, T, U, V, W, X, Y, and Z. So now I have all of my alphabet written out. It's going to be backwards for you guys, so I'll show it through this way. It doesn't quite show up. But we have our alphabet written out. Both of my assistants have it too. They wrote it a little bigger. That's all right. Hers are more spaced out. Keep on going until you have yours ready. But it's not a very secret code if all I do is write my letters the same way. People are just going to be able to read it. If I write my name, it's just going to say my name, and that's not very secret. So what we're going to do is we're going to turn these into secret symbols. You can use any sort of method to create your own symbols. You make every one a unique shape. You can make all of them different colors. You can do all sorts of different things, but you want to make sure it's something that's easy to make and you can read it. If every single letter is like a 26-step process that's a bunch of grids and lines, is it going to be really easy to make?
No.
No. But we're going to go ahead and make our own secret code. I'm going to do mine with lines and dots. I'm going to use different colors. So my first one's going to be a line. That's my letter A. Hold it closer so you can see. And I'm going to keep adding dots on top. So B is going to be a line with one dot on top of it. This is going to be my secret code. And you can do these however you want. I'm just showing you how I would do it. I want to make sure that every letter is different. If 2 letters are the same, it doesn't quite work. So C is going to be 3 dots. I'm going to keep going until I have 4 dots over it. Line, dot, dot, dot. Line, 4 dots. And I have the first 5 letters of my secret code. So anytime I want to write an A, it'll just be a line. The B is going to be this weird symbol that I made up, and this is C. And I'm going to have my assistants make their own codes up. They can make them whatever they want. They can use different colors like we have here. They can make it the same set of symbols that repeat but in different colors. So the first 4 are red, but they're the same pattern. The second 4 are blue, or they're the same pattern. The cool thing is that there's a code that's already made that uses dots and dashes, and it's called Morse code. The reason they invented this code was they needed to communicate, but they only had 2 things: a long beep noise, and a short beep noise. Through this, they made an entire language. And if you have some free time, look up Morse Code. It's super cool. Everything is a dot or a dash. So if you do the letter S, it's just dot, dot, dot. The letter O is 3 dashes. And all of it is going to sound different on a computer. So it's one way that they used codes to get over a problem that they had. So I'm going to keep making my language. I'm going to make F the same thing as B, but now the lots are under the line. I'm going to keep going down and see how far I make it. And I made it to letter I. So now here's a part where I have to solve a problem. I've already put all the dots on top of the line, and I put them on the bottom of the line. So now I'm going to make my line vertically and put the dots on the left and the right and see how that turns out. So J, I'm going to put a line with it on the left. K, 2 dots. L. How's your code coming along? Is it going well? She has a cool system where she's drawing different shapes. So her first shape is a circle. Her second shape is a circle with 1 line, then a circle with 2 lines, and a circle with 3 lines. So she's doing it her own unique way, but it's an easy to follow pattern. So I really like it. Let's see what yours is coming up with. Ooh, she has some fancy ones going on. Hers doesn't really have a pattern to it, and that's all right. She's drawing different shapes, and it's kind of hard to see because they're very small, but there's different amounts of dots. So this is a acute angle with some dots on it. This is a right angle with another dot. This is a curve with 3 dots. This one has 2. This is another one. So keep going. Experiment with your own secret code. But the most important part is that you do not lose the decoder. Because the code only works, and it's only secret, if there's only one decoder and you both know the answer. If I give someone a secret code and they can't read it, it's just as much as me talking gibberish. If I just start talking in French all of a sudden, not very many of you guys are going to understand me. So whoever you give the other end should be the only person with the decoder. You want to make sure that stays secret. And you should be all set to be able to pass the secret message. So once you finish your language, take a look at it, make sure there's no repeats. I'm going to add diagonal lines now because I ran out of vertical lines. And then see if you can write your name in the language. That should be the first challenge, and that'll let you know if you're missing any letters. Sometimes when doing this, you might skip a letter of the alphabet. That's okay. Just make sure to go back, add it back in later. And mine worked out kind of perfectly because now I have ran out of symbols. So I have straight line, dots above, dots below, vertical line, dots to one side, dots to the other side, and then diagonal line, dots on top, and dots on bottom. And now I have my own language. So I'm going to get my Sharpie so you guys can see it forward. I'm going to write on this page. And I'm going to write my name and my secret code. So I'm going to look at my code. Okay, D is the first letter. That's 1 line, 3 dots on top. Then I'm going to do O, that's a vertical line, 2 dots. R, I is going to be 4 dots underneath. A, just a straight line. And take your time, make sure you do it correct, because if you miscode it, it's going to be kind of hard to read. D-O-R-I-A. This last one should be N. Double check and make sure all your symbols are correct. So I'm going to show it through so it's the correct way. So this is what my code's going to look like. And if I hand this to somebody who doesn't know this is a secret code, they're just going to think it's a drawing or something weird is going on. And they're not going to know how to solve this. But if somebody has the decoder, they're going to be able to tell what it says, and they'll figure out it just says Dorian, my first name. Now these are super cool, and it's fun to pass with your friends, but there's actually a lot of other places that secret codes are used. The first one is actually storing information. Computers have their own code, and it's just called binary. The word binary, the first part is bi, like binoculars. It just means 2, like a bicycle has 2 wheels. Binoculars have 2 holes to look through. Binary, there's only 2 symbols. One is a 0, and the other one's a 1. Those just mean on and off, because a computer is just a set of small switches. Actually, if you've ever seen the power button on a computer, you'll notice a familiar symbol. It's a circle with a line in it. I'm sure you guys have seen this, especially if you have an Xbox or a PlayStation or a remote, just the power button. This is actually a 0 and a 1 because it's a computer. It uses binary. The cool thing about binary is it lets the computer make its own numbers, and binary is a really cool thing if you want to spend some extra time and look up how to use binary. There's a really awesome way, and there's a secret code computers use called ASCII, A-S-C-I-I. What it does is it turns all of these digits into letters so the computer can understand what we type. And the cool thing is, because there's only 2 numbers, it lets computers take a whole bunch of big blocks of information and smush it really tiny. And what does it do with this smushed information? We have to find ways to store it. So I'm going to show you some cool ways that we have stored information, and the information we're going to store is music. If you have a whole song, you need to keep track of all the sounds, all the highs, all the lows, and all the volumes. And how to keep track of that, and there's a couple different ways. I'll show you, but we're going to see how our assistants are doing with their codes. May I see your code? So she has an awesome code. Hers is really pretty. It's got a lot of squiggly lines, got a lot of zigzags. But if you look, this looks like a completely foreign code. It's going to be backwards for you guys, but it looks like a check with 3 dots, a line with 2 dots on the side. This looks like a 4 with a really good hairdo. It's got dots around it. This looks like just a straight line. We have an arrow and a triangle, and that's actually going to spell her name. So you can have your own secret language to talk to the people in your house and your friends, and you can practice writing it. Just make sure if you're writing a code, don't use a whole page. Try and use small pieces of paper so that 1, they can stay secret, and 2, you don't waste a lot of paper. Oh, here, can we see your code? Your code reminds me a lot of railroad signs. All of these have lines that are crossing. Some of them are dashed, some of them are dotted. She wrote her name. It's really simple. It's only 2 characters, I-S-I-S. And she has circle, circle with a dashed line, circle, circle with a dashed line. So there's all sorts of ways you can create it. Thank you guys for being my awesome assistants. You guys are free to sync back to where you came from if you want. Or you can say, it's up to you.
Cool.
But the other thing we can do is, you okay?
Yeah.
Is to store this big block of information. Because if we have a huge wall of text of 0100010101, as people, it's hard for us to look at. And it takes up a lot of space if we just write it out on paper and have to put it into the computer. So what we actually do is we encode it in small amounts of information, but we need somewhere to put that information. So we're going to go through history a little bit and see how we stored it if we want to store a song. The first way we did it is actually on something called a vinyl record. You've probably seen one of these before, or you've seen the symbol for a music app, but these are actually super cool. This is a disc with a bunch of really tiny lines in it, and those lines actually have little electronic signals that tell it what to read. So if you look really close, you see there's a whole bunch of really tiny lines. Some are closer, some are spaced apart. All these are little bumps that tell the electronics the same number, 0 and 1. What these do is allows it to turn numbers into sound, and it turns that sound into something we can hear. After that, we thought these were a little too big. Maybe we need something a little smaller to store information. We went through a couple trials and errors, and we eventually came across something like this. This is a cassette tape. All it does is it lets you store information not on grooves, but on little pieces of tape that run through here. They're actually wound around this spool, like you'd see like string around a spool. And when you twist it and it goes into a tape player, it's actually going to go through and it's going to read the information off of it. It's going to get the same 0s and 1s that we would write down. The last thing is actually a CD. This is a lot like our record, but it has very, very small grooves, and you notice it's shiny and it gives off light. What actually happens is your CD player and your DVD player actually use really tiny lasers. And those lasers are able to pick up these tiny grooves and detect what information is stored on them. And it keeps updating and updating. For a while, we had some floppy disks. We had different things like 8 tracks. We had Laserdisc. And all sorts of cool things that can basically be read and transfer information. But that's just like a computer's secret code. I hope you guys have some fun and show us your secret codes and your secret languages, and let's see if we can use some of them. If you put pictures, I'll see if I can write my name in your secret code, and it'll be super awesome. But I hope you guys have enjoyed today's STEAM train. Thank you to my assistants. Thank you very much. And thank you very much. I hope you guys enjoyed today's lesson. I am Doran with New Minds, and don't forget to check out our new domain, newminds.tv. This is going to let you access all of these lessons for free online, and it's going to have all of them stored. You can sort it if you want to watch the Dungeon Diverse ones, if you want to watch mine, if you want to watch Around the World. All of them are going to be on there, and I hope you guys have an awesome day and enjoy your Friday.